Friends, in this lesson, we will outline our plan with fine liners, making adjustments to our drawing along the way. We'll show the surfaces of the floor covering and add color to our work so that the drawing is easier to read. Hello, my dears. Let's continue working on our plan together. Now we're going to outline it. Look, I have fine liners, which are also called capillary pens. They come in different thicknesses, see? And accordingly, they produce lines of different thicknesses. And of course, even when outlining, we start with the general contours. So I'm choosing my thickest fine liner. Right now, I'm outlining the exterior walls. That is, we always move from the general, larger shapes to the details. When I'm outlining, I can make adjustments to my drawing. If my line wobbled somewhere or there's a curve, I can correct it while outlining my drawing. Make some adjustments to it. And look, here, when we're drawing right angles, you can actually extend the line slightly outward like this, so you get a sharp corner. Watch. See, I go out just a little bit, just slightly like this, and then we get a distinctive sharp corner, not a smudged or rounded one. These are also called whiskers, little graphic strokes. So it's not a problem if your lines stick out a bit at the corners. In architectural graphics, that's actually how they draw. I can also draw the door with a thick line. Now look, I outlined the walls with my thickest liner. And to draw the details, for example, the window, this double glazed unit, I use a thinner line so the drawing doesn't look too harsh. To draw the path of the door's movement, I'll also use a thinner line. And of course, to draw the furniture, I think I'll use an even thinner liner. I'm not telling you the exact numbers of the liners I use on purpose, because you can try each liner on a sheet of paper yourself to see what kind of line it makes and then decide. The most important thing is the fewer the details, the thinner the line should be, so it doesn't look rough. And I'll repeat once again, while outlining, you can adjust your drawing. For details like hangers in the closet or a computer keyboard, you should choose the thinnest possible line. That's why you need a set, at least 3 different sizes: thin, medium, and thick. Well, my dears, now that we've outlined everything, we're going to fill in the walls. There's a term for this, filling in. In architecture, in the language of architecture and design, it means to create a kind of spot or area. You take some neutral color, maybe gray, maybe black, and we use that color to fill in the walls. With this particular shade of color, our drawing will be easy to read, meaning it will be visually clear. A marker has a fine tip and a broad tip. You see, depending on what you need. For example, for certain corners, it's better to use the fine tip to color them in. And for the larger areas, use the broad tip of the marker. Now I open the broad tip and go over the area. There, and now we can see the outline of our apartment. In this case, it's more visible now, but now we can erase the pencil lines. And we can show the floor. Let's decide where we want to have tiles and indicate them with little squares. So first we'll carefully draw lines in one direction, vertically, then horizontally, and we'll get tiles. We'll have beautiful tile flooring installed on the balcony, as well as in the bathroom and also in the toilet room. The size of the tiles can vary. For example, in the toilet room, I'll make the tiles smaller. Right now, we're currently showing the floor covering that is present in this area. In the room, we'll have wooden floorboards. How do we draw them? We'll start by drawing lines like this. Which in this case will represent the floorboards. Of course, we'll go around our furniture because if the floor is covered by furniture, we can't see it. You can come up with your own type of floor covering. Here, in this spot, we'll have a wardrobe for clothes, and the door won't be a swinging one like here. It won't open outwards, it'll be a sliding door. A sliding door is shown like this, and since there will be a wardrobe for clothes inside, I'll also sketch some hangers here so it's clear what's here. We don't even have to outline the texture of the floor later. We can just leave it as a pencil line. It will be barely noticeable and won't compete with the main drawing because this is secondary information in this sketch. A sketch is a quick drawing. So, in fact, this work can be called a sketch or a sketch. Later, in other lessons, I will show you how to make plans using a ruler and to scale. For now, we are currently drawing by hand because a real architect or designer should be skilled both with their hand and with drafting tools such as a ruler. Now I suggest we show our floor since it's wooden. take a marker of a certain color. Since wooden boards can be either light or dark in color, you can decide for yourself which one you prefer. I'm choosing a light color so that it does not cover up our drawing and the artwork stays visible. Our outline floor, the board drawn on the wooden floor, should be clearly visible. So if you want your artwork or drawing to be seen, don't use really very dense or extremely highly saturated colors. They should be fairly subtle, just a hint. If you notice, my hand doesn't move in all directions or randomly, because later this line will be visible. So I move in one direction. For example, from top to bottom. Now I'll use a wider part of our marker to speed things up. If the color accidentally transfers onto nearby objects, don't worry. Quick sketches like these allow for a certain freedom in movement, and this can even add charm to your work, a bold, lively line. After all, what we're doing here isn't a technical drawing. Right now, we're just capturing the current state of things. Later, in other works, we'll start inventing and making changes to this plan. But for now, as professionals, we're learning to record the existing situation, which is unique for each of us. What should you do if you forgot to draw something, but for example, like me, you've already colored in the floor? It's nothing to worry about. We'll just make a little patch right now. How do you do that? Watch. So I take my sketchbook and cut out a strip with scissors. Look, for example, I have a rug. I'll draw it like this now. See what mine looks like? Mine is rectangular like this kind of rug. And it also has rounded corners. So first I drew a rectangle like this, and then I round off the corners. And now I'll cut it out. And you can do this with any detail if you forget something or want to make some changes, but find that you can't erase certain lines anymore. You can simply cut out the item you need from the same piece of paper you're drawing on and carefully stick it on top, just like this. Take a look. And how can you show the texture of a rug? Here I have a rug. How do I show it? I'll take a fine liner and I'll put little dots like this. See, look. This way I'm showing the textile. But I don't put the dots evenly across the whole surface of the rug. Some areas have more, some less. In other words, we always try to avoid uniformity. And when you put the dots closer together in some areas, you get a kind of darker shadow there. Usually, these dots are placed more densely at the corners. Then, as you move away, there are fewer and fewer dots. So as you can see, this is the kind of rug we get. Right now it gets a bit lost because I usually outline all the furniture. So when I glue it down, I'll be able to go around, outline it along the perimeter, and then it will have these clear edges. Now that's it, my dears.